It says recording. All right. All right, man. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back. Apparently, we did not. It did not fail last time. Our little experiment of trying this four movie breakdown. Seems like everybody enjoyed it, so we are coming back for another round. I am JC Walsh, cosmic horror writer of Things Tentacly.
Armand Rosamilia. I write some tentacly things too, but I also write non-tentacly things as well. So this should be interesting because you gave me four movies that I would have never even known existed because I don't really do horror movies anymore. So this
Yeah.
this this will be interesting.
You know, it's funny too. When we were talking, come up with some ideas for the movies. I was trying to stick with like monsters closer to like the forest or more of like that rural area. But then a couple I really wanted to get to weren't available through like free streaming. I was like, ah, son of a gun.
Yeah.
So I had to think about what you're more into, directive, and then what like we both find that common ground. And I was like, well, I was trying to stay away from water stuff. We just did lighthouses last time. And I was like, screw it. We'll do aquatic horror. That's our theme today. Four movies with aquatic horror themes.
Right.
Um,
Some more than others.
so yes, but which is interesting. I can't wait to talk about that with you because like the similarities and how different, but they're all kind of there. Got my 4 pages of notes.
Look, I'm wearing my Jaws shirt. I thought that was
It's half aquatic. I got Godzilla on
right. Yeah,
it, so kind of there.
kind of counts.
Yeah, Joe's shirt. That's where like that's where it's at. Um, so shoot, I guess jump right into the first movie, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the first one we got was first one's underwater. Want to start with that?
Yeah, let's start with that. So you give the elevator pitch, the premise for that one.
So it's essentially drilling was a drilling facility in the water underwater,
Mhm.
and so it ends up like caving in, crashing down, and having this catastrophic like event and trapping like some of the workers.
Right from the
And
beginning. I mean, like within the first couple minutes, which I like that. I like that
mhm.
we don't have a lot of characterization, backstory, anything. It's just like boom, we're into it, and then we learn about everybody.
Yeah, and that was cool too because it was just Kristen Stewart's in it, and so that was it'll be cool to see her something different other than the usual Twilight or other things. And then like she's giving her little internal monologue, this like deep conversation, and then within seconds things just go right to hell.
Yeah,
And then it was pretty the whole thing was pretty heart wrenching, especially like that claustrophobia of
yeah,
being in some kind of facility like that. I can never imagine working in something like that. I can never imagine working in a submarine or anything on the water where you're just confined, and then something like that happens. And then and what's cool about her character is like she was quick to think on her
hmm
feet. Like the moment she's running, and other people try to run with her, and then she's like trying to fix the gate, the door switches, and it was just those first like 4 minutes was just insane.
yeah. I am not a fan of hers. The only thing I've ever really liked her in was when she did she played Joan Jett in the Runaways movie,
Oh,
and
that's cool.
I thought she did all right in that. But I'm not a fan of her. So when I first see her, and I'm like, oh, but actually, after a while, you forget that it's her. It becomes a
Hmm.
character,
Hmm.
and I thought the funniest part though, because she's in her underwear pretty much for almost the entire movie,
Yeah.
which I'm like, yeah, she. But I thought the funniest thing was she finds a guy and she's helping him out. Like there's some rubble and she's pulling it up, and basically I think he calls her like his my flat chested elf or something like that. And I thought that was hysterical. Of course, it was the funny guy you've seen in all these movies that ends up in real life is a lunatic
Hmm.
and called in pipe bombs and stuff in real life. Like if you look that guy up, yeah,
Oh
there's a
my
lot
god.
of crazy. Like he was in Deadpool. He was in the first Deadpool
Yep.
as the bartender
That's why I
guy.
seen him.
Yeah,
Okay. All
he's been
right.
in a bunch of things, but in real life, like he has like gone over the edge. So it was kind of funny uh, watching because I'm like, oh, he is this character. But my favorite parts were, you're walking in a tunnel and it's half full of water. You don't know what's underneath you,
Hmm.
and stuff is caving in, and they're crawling through stuff and everything. It was like you said, it was claustrophobic. Was really good. It really puts you in the camera work. Really puts you in the movie, which is what I really liked.
Yeah. Yeah, and then and they did well because like you said, they don't waste time on too much character like
Yeah,
description or development. They give you enough each portion of the movie. Like like they'll when they're going through the rubble and they find who else survives. You got the captain, you got the quirky guy and his buddy, and then you got one other female character. I don't remember the character's name, unfortunately. Go figure. And then so you have like this crew that is like, all right, now we gotta figure out how we're gonna get out of this.
right.
And then what's making it more terrifying? Let's go deeper where where the
Yeah,
pods are. We're just gonna keep going down where it's like pitch black, like underneath sea level, I believe. Sea level or land level. I forgot the actual terminology. And then and they keep this like environmental tension on you, like with things happen, like fear of like pressure crushing the suit, and all kinds of different things before they even get to the actual creatures in the movie.
yeah, yeah. And I thought the creatures were fun. It's that typical monster movie where you just see brief glimpses of
Hmm.
them and all that, and then the I guess what the kids would now call the boss monster
Yeah.
was really good. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, I liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good movie. It had a lot of creep factors. Obviously, it's whenever you see a movie like this, it's definitely that for me. It's that homage to Alien. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I mean, it's the monsters, and you got a lot of that horror, and you got a lot of that sci-fi to it as well, especially when
Yeah.
they're putting the suits on and all that stuff. And again, for me as a guy, it was wasted because I'm like I'm not attracted to Kristen Stewart. So her walking around in her underwear, I was like, could have been better, but
Yeah. And that's so funny. And and go with the monsters. What I loved about it is like, and then when I was writing my notes, I was like, oh yeah, they got like this build up. You got the smaller one, which is obviously Lovecraftian.
yeah,
There's tentacles on these things. Thank you. And then what's cool because you see them what they are, and then when we get to them in the water where it's like very dark and everything's covered in this weird algae that dispels off them. Even if I use that word right, I don't know, don't care. But and then like, but you can't really. My only complaint about the whole movie was it's a little too dark. That was
yeah,
like a little bit of an issue, but it did add to the intensity and it was cool because you couldn't see the creatures, but when you did see them, like, whoa, this is cool. And they just got bigger and bigger, and the
yeah.
closer you got to that middle like section of the drill, it was just like then you see, like I said, the boss guy, which
Yeah.
man, I didn't realize it, but do we know who that is? I mean, did you
Well, I
know?
think
Did you?
yeah, I think that was definitely the play on that, which I thought was great. Because at first, when I saw the monsters and you see them a little bit, I literally was watching. I said, "Oh man, JC, this is another freaking mermaid movie," because that's what I thought.
That's
But then I'm
funny.
like, oh no, no, this is Lovecraft.
Mm-hmm.
This is whoever wrote this. This is like a fan of Lovecraft. And
Mm-hmm.
then when the boss one comes out and just the movement, the mannerisms and everything, I'm like, all right, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I said Lovecraftian creature, but then somebody else said who that actually was, and I was like, I've been waiting my entire gosh freaking life for him to show up,
Yeah.
and I didn't realize it. Like I didn't catch on, but then like it was this, I don't know. It was like in the beginning of March. It was last year when I first saw it last year, and then like I've seen this movie like 4 times. I
Oh
think
wow.
I love it, and I think it's great. And then I always see something different every time. It's always new to me.
Yeah.
But then like just oh man, yeah, and it was a good it was a good ending. It was a good way to end off. I like the newspapers at the end, and
Yeah.
like it shows like the aftermath through media.
Right. I mean, a lot of it is very typical. A lot of it
Hmm.
is what's coming. There's not a ton of twists and turns in it,
Hmm.
but I think that works in its favor because going in, if you've seen anything, if you've seen the trailer or whatever, you know what this is, and they don't screw you. They don't twist it away from you. I mean, it's literally like, all right,
Straightforward.
this is Alien underwater. I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
you know what I mean? With Lovecraft tossed in, which I guess you could argue, which H.R. Giger's stuff was Lovecraftian as well in back in the day too. So, but I liked it.
See,
I thought the ending worked out. I
yeah.
thought it was. I thought it worked out pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. And I was holding back so much from texting you. I was like, you know who that is? Like, no,
Well,
we'll talk about it.
what's funny? So, we did the first one, the Lighthouse one, only because I'd started watching Lighthouse movies, and then you were like, I've seen a couple. Here's another couple, and I said, yeah, let's kind of do a video thing of it. So this time around, it was like, all right, Joe, pick something. Like, let's pick 4 movies, and I don't watch. My wife will not watch a horror movie, and I barely watch them. So it was all right. She goes away like once a month to Atlanta. So I literally took the entire day. I was like, all right, I'm going to have lunch and start one. And then like 4 movies later, like I hadn't written or done anything all day. I was just sitting there watching these movies, And I was like, all right, well, you know what? You need one of those days every now and then, which is
Yeah, you do. It helps the creativity too.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah. It's funny. You just called me Joe. That is really funny. I don't hear that a lot.
I know, right? Yeah, that was. I'm looking at your name up there, and that's the only person I've ever heard call that is your wife.
That's funny. Do you want to go ahead and jump to the next one?
Yeah, let's jump to the next one.
Let's go to the next one. So the next one, again, I think we're in order of our text, believe it or not. The next one is Sweetheart. So that one is about a young woman who gets stranded on an island and finds out she is not alone, essentially.
Yeah.
And with this one, it falls, again, a different form of that aquatic horror, but now the person's barely in the water. They're on this island surviving, and you got this thing lurking.
Right.
And then this is another case, just like with Underwater, there's like another buildup kind of to the creature a little bit.
I thought so this is something that I probably would have never watched because I'm like, it's called Sweetheart, and somebody calls her Sweetheart so it was like, for me, I was like, all right, well, the name is dumb, and the first maybe 5-10 minutes, I'm like, all right, do something, because while the other one jumps right into the action, this one is, her finding clothes and her, eating coconuts, and so it's like it's the typical survivor stuff. But I was like, all right, come on, let's get to something. But when it jumps in, all of a sudden you're like, okay, there's a threat, and it's coming from the ocean. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so I like the build up. There was a couple of parts, honestly, on this one that were kind of hokey. The fact that she kept finding stuff, I thought was like, all right, enough already. Like, oh, let me find a couple of cans of Coca-Cola. Let me find my luggage so I have all my clothes that fit me. Let me find, weapons and different things. So that part I thought was a little bit much, but overall I liked it.
Yeah, definitely. That was like where Underwater was that typical monster. This had a typical survival, whereas like, the survival story is always going to have the person who's going to find stuff and is always going to find their luggage all of a sudden, and they find out, other items to show that there were people on this island before her. I do like that there was a lot of mysticism to like her past. You really don't know much about the ship. You don't know much about who she really is, not until other people arrive, which I did not expect that, actually.
Yeah.
And then before they even arrive, she's already, you don't even see the monster at first. You know when it takes a body from a person that she was with that passed on. And then she starts like kind of like playing around with it and trying to trick it or trap it, and it's like you find it smarter. You don't know how big this thing is. And I gotta say, one of the most coolest moments of this movie is like when she's shooting the flare gun to that plane.
And you see it out there, yeah.
Oh my god,
that was cool.
That was probably one of the most perfect monster shots, in Revelations. You don't even see it, you just see a shape.
You see a silhouette in the water, and it's moving towards her quickly.
Yeah, I was scared the crap out of me, man. I was like, I'm not leaving my camp. I'm not leaving my tree trunk. I'm staying.
Yeah. and I thought it was cool too. Like she goes up in a tree at one point,
Mm-hmm.
and the thing knows exactly where she
Mm-hmm.
is and attacks her. So it's like you're not safe anywhere on this island. And it's like you said, it's not a dumb animal that's coming out. I mean, this thing is intelligent enough to realize what she's doing too. So I thought it was I thought it was good. I thought the ending was good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought for the small amount of characters that were on it, the problem I had is the other two characters that come on um, were very wooden to me,
Mm-hmm.
very one dimensional, and they were kind of the move the plot along
Mm-hmm.
and to give the monster somebody to kill, and also to give her backstory.
Yeah.
So you don't learn everything about her, which I thought was great.
Mm-hmm.
There's no big info dump, but you learn that she's not. Um, Sometimes she's not a nice person. I think she's got a lot of, obviously she has a ton of issues, but
Mm-hmm.
then I think that these two characters that are on the island with her for a brief moment, they also have some issues. It's like you can tell it's basically they came from a boat full of douchebags. you know, I mean to me that's what it's like. They're all a bunch of jerks to each other and stuff, and they got shipwrecked.
Yeah, I mean, and then with like the mystery behind the other two characters, you obviously know they did something shady.
Yeah,
There's evidence they did something shady, and the fact and go with your joke there, both full of douchebags, it makes you wonder: did they cause the crash? Are they the ones who caused this
yeah,
incident? You don't know,
yeah,
and that's kind of cool. Again, because it's weird. I agree with you with those characters. Like they fit, but I think maybe they came in a little sooner.
yeah.
Maybe they came in a little sooner, give them a little more to them. I mean, they still fit because like their relationship with Sweetheart, and then this we first hear her nickname through the gentleman who's obviously I think her partner,
Right, yeah,
and he's definitely got some abusive issues.
yeah,
And then so they played that very well, and I also played well to like the point where you actually see the full monster.
yeah,
That move that I like that. Like I thought that was kind of cool, and then that brought back to like my love of '80s monsters. The look of that thing.
yeah,
And so one time you see it in full because it's underwater in the daytime, and it had this like sea rat pumpkin head thing going on. It was kind of like I was like, look
yeah.
at this. I paused it for a second. I'm like, look at this freaking. It's kind of cool.
I like the part when she's running down the beach and it runs and jumps into the
Oh
water.
my god, yeah.
And it's like a dolphin bouncing around. It was like the creature from the Black Lagoon,
Yeah.
shooting past her. I thought those scenes were great. I thought the scenes of her being stalked by it or trying
Mm-hmm.
to kill it or trying to capture it or whatever. I thought those were the best scenes, the night scenes.
Yeah.
And then I liked how it kind of flips around because you get think, okay, this thing's only coming out at night,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden you're seeing it during the day.
Yeah, and that was a good little twist. And then
Yeah.
when they were trying to escape, and that's the thing too. That's great about this form of aquatic horror. You got the isolation of the island, you got the monster, you got people, and then even if you get out in the water, you make water and you make it. There goes my T and D's. What's going to happen out there?
Yeah,
Are you even going to survive out there? And that's a lot of terrifying notions.
yeah. I
And
liked it. I liked a lot of the. I liked a lot of the night scenes.
yeah,
I thought it really helped because I think this one was dark on purpose on a lot of those. But you also had
mm-hmm.
she had a fire, so you always had when the thing got too close, you could see the the light off of it, which
Yeah.
I thought was pretty cool. I thought the monster was pretty good.
Yeah, and the night scenes worked better. I mean, it made sense underwater how they did it. Even though you're like, oh man, what the heck is that? I think they worked better for this the way they did, like you said, the lighting and this and it just worked. And then that final scene near the where she's fighting it at the campfire.
Yeah,
I mean, that was some Arnold Schwarzenegger Predator stuff right there. I was like, this is great. And for a PG-13 movie, I mean, it was vicious.
Yeah,
It was a vicious
yeah.
fight. I was like, let's just get all like ninja on him and shit and like
yeah.
doing all kinds of cool stuff. I was like, oh, this is up my alley right here.
Yeah, that was. I thought that was good. And again, it's a movie that I would have passed 1,000 times. Because the other thing that we're doing is we're picking 4 movies, which seems that's pretty easy. But then you got to figure out I'm not paying for anything. I mean, we're
Mm-hmm.
already paying for it. So is it on Amazon Prime? Is it on Netflix? Is it
Mm-hmm.
on? Can I get it on cable? Is it on Tubi or any of those? So
Yeah.
that's kind of the challenge as well on these. But again, it's a movie I never would have even known about. So it was kind of neat to be able to see it, and I liked it.
Yeah, that's good. And I was trying to, and I was definitely trying to get somewhere that's not extremely crazy violent, but have the right amount of like the
Yeah.
speculative horror. Monster movies can have a good quiet horror to them and a good build up, and
Yeah.
then still have and great intensity too. And I even looked up like how you got the Lighthouse movies. I just looked up like aquatic horror, and 2020 had
Hmm.
a lot of aquatic horror, all different forms of Lovecraftian, and so it was a heck of a challenge to really find that. And then I purposely did certain like themes, like the lead characters are all survivalists in a certain way, and
Hmm.
like Kristen Stewart's character, survivalist. She knew how to operate the machinery and all that. The sweetheart character, island survivalist, and
Right.
then
When I saw I because I watched them, I watched all four of these back to back to back to back. So when this one started, I'm like, oh, because I just you see her and she wakes up, and I'm like, oh, did Joe pick four movies with chicks in their underwear? This will be a good. But then I'm
I
like, oh
didn't.
no, oh no, she's. I guess this is not the theme we were going for.
The strong female lead was the theme, but not. I didn't even
Oh,
think. Oh, we're making an underwear catalog.
right.
Sea monsters
Sea
in
monsters,
Victoria's Secret.
sea monsters and undies. Great.
um, that's hilarious. You got any more to say about that one?
No, I think that's good for now.
Oh my god. So we're going to the more quieter one of the bunch. I was gonna try to do it last, but I do want to jump on this. Block Island Sound.
So this was really, this one is one of those that you really got to pay attention to the characters, because it was way more psychological, I think, than anything with what's going on. What are the characters? Uh, what are they really seeing? Because you really have the main character, the son, is really a completely unreliable narrator in this. So is this in his head? Is this really happening? I mean, are other people seeing the things he's seeing? And obviously, then it throws back to his father as well. I mean, he's fallen into the same trap as he did, and I liked it. I liked I especially liked the beginning of it. I thought the pacing was really good,
Mm-hmm.
and you have that family conflict and the dynamic, and you realize that the main character, the guy, really isn't a great brother and a great
Mm-hmm.
son and a great friend to anyone, kind of thing. So my initial watching it, probably for the first half of it, was I liked it. I liked the pacing, and I liked everything that was going on, and I thought was going on.
Yeah, I agree. Like, well, one, I heard of this. I was like, Block Island, Rhode Island, and yes, it's Rhode Island. So I got excited. I was like, I
Exactly.
gotta
Yeah.
find a way. I gotta find a way to fit this. I gotta find a way to fit this in here. And then I broke down the themes. Like, yeah, this will work. And so Block Island, Rhode Island, which 32 years of living in Rhode Island, I've never been to. It's like I've been to the beach across from the island. My wife's been to Block Island. She's not from Rhode Island.
Well, after this movie, probably don't go on Block Island.
Well, yeah, and the thing with this movie, it's during a time where Block Island's not very populated because of the winter.
Right.
In the summer, it's very touristy, and then it's very full, and so it was cool to see again. And then I love using the word isolation because it that the whole scenery to that adds to that feeling you have with the son and father dynamic
Mm-hmm.
of this paranoia and then this passing down of insanity through this deed. And then again, yes, that's two Lovecraftian movies in one night. I try not to do it. I swear. And and so yeah, it really grasped you because there wasn't much. It was just these characters.
Yeah.
And oh my god, did I forget anything else? No, go ahead. I'll throw a couple. I think I lost the track a little bit, but I'll let you go on the next one.
Yeah, no
Next Next line.
Right. Well, the for me the setting was so much of a character. Like watching it,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Florida with the air conditioning on sitting, and I was like cold, and I felt cold and wet watching this movie. Like it reminded me of growing up in Jersey in a small fishing
Mm-hmm.
village in the winter because it was just like that penetrating cold, and it was like I love that. I love watching a movie like that, and you feel like you're there. And I think actually this is the fourth movie that I watched. So it was getting late and I had the lights out and I'm
Mm-hmm.
by myself and I'm like I'm getting all freaked out when when he's getting on the boat and stuff and especially towards the end and stuff. So I thought it was definitely the setting was definitely one of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the characters were like his sisters. I was like you probably could have had one sister instead of the two, just for the characterizations. I thought
Yeah.
it didn't need as many people, and everybody was against him. Um, I thought the when he kind of freaks out during the wake, I thought that was kind of neat. I,
Yeah, where he's at the meat market and everything, and
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, he's
whoa.
and again, is this stuff really happening?
Yeah.
Is it really happening to him? Is he imagining it? Especially when his dead father starts showing up
Mm-hmm.
again. The obvious the sound, the noise was nice and creepy. I thought that was well done as well. I want to be honest though, I was not a huge fan of the ending. I
Mm-hmm.
did not like how they wrapped it up. I did not um like the last say 10-15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, like I didn't see it coming, but then I didn't see it coming because I didn't think that was a great ending. That was just me.
Yeah. It could have been built on a little more. Like the stuff that happened worked because it was different.
Yeah,
It was very paranormal. Uh, mm, Fire in the sky ish. That's what I'm gonna say. I'll go with
yeah,
that. Which is kind of cool. I expect that because they really did focus on a lot of the water.
yeah,
And this form of aquatic horror was like the conspiracy theories, and that you had that one character, and I think there's a few of those in at home too, and and that just like spews all kinds of insane conspiracy theories, and it really was going with things with health issues and the water, and there's a lot of things that was really playing off that
yeah.
setting, like you said, it was playing off the setting.
Right.
um and now with this one, because the other two, well, three movies have like a main female lead. The strong female character, the one sister, she was more of a secondary.
Yeah,
But like it was almost like was interesting with her. She was kind of her survivalism was like trying to survive her own family. She was trying to stay away from that dysfunction. As you could tell,
right.
she moved out and then she came back to try and help out or
Yeah,
be with the family and stuff. And then she gets wrapped up in all of their issues
right.
and
Well,
stuff like
so
that.
there's a lot of backstory with the family,
Mm-hmm.
which they don't really go into, which is good because I don't
Mm-hmm.
think you need it. I think you just from the beginning you realize the sisters don't trust the brother
Mm-hmm.
because of the past, because of everything he's done, and they don't see the dad is kind of losing his mind on this, and then the brother's covering and acting like, oh, nothing's wrong with dad, kind of
Yeah.
thing. So like they don't trust him. It's kind of like, oh, you're abusing our dad, and
Mm-hmm.
you want the house, and you want all this stuff, and you're just really self-serving, and you're a selfish person, which I thought was great because story wise, that made it even better when
Mm-hmm.
he starts acting like the dad, when he starts disappearing on the boat, when he starts really kind of going off on people and stuff. Because a lot of people, I think, expect that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was played very well. It was with like that. It was. Yeah, I agree. The stuff near the end was, I mean, like you said, it does feel like they could have done something better with it, but it was still freaky. Some of it was
Yeah,
still freaky, And
yeah,
what's interesting? I forgot. I didn't get to note what the Block Island Sound was. That's a real area between like Rhode Island and Block Island, and it's also kind of between Block Island and Montauk Island, which I didn't know Montauk and Block Island were that close. So you got people ranting about conspiracy theories, and you got Montauk Island,
Right. The
where it
Montauk
has
Monster.
the Montauk Monster, the Montauk
Right.
Experience, which inspired Stranger Things. So
Yeah.
that was almost kind of like a little like nod towards like that whole entire
Yeah.
thing, of that myth and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool. I really enjoyed how that was. It wasn't heavy. It was just enough to like kind of like,
Right. Yeah.
and it kept playing into the characters' reactions too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, except for the ending, I enjoyed it.
Mm.
And I didn't hate the ending. I just thought there could have been more, and I thought it was kind of, I don't know. I think I was just expecting more from it. I
Yeah.
guess is that was the problem.
Yeah, and he did. The guy who plays the son, he did a good job with his Rhode Island accent. I gotta say, it was pretty good. Wow.
so he's good.
Any more you want to say on that one?
No, I think I've said enough.
All right, I'm actually kind of glad I see this one for the last because this is a crazy movie. Crawl.
Yeah. So what was your initial thoughts on it?
When I first saw the trailer, I was like, "Oh, this looks like fun. We need a crazy alligator movie because that's essentially what it is."
Yeah.
And then with this form of aquatic horror, you got a storm, which you live in Florida, so you know hurricanes very well.
Yeah. Not this bad, but yeah.
Not that bad, yeah. So I was all for it, right? And I enjoy the director. He usually does a lot of remakes. So a lot of his remakes I enjoyed. He did Piranha. I think he did Piranha 3D. He did Hills Have Eyes. So he's got his name's a staple in the horror genre. So everybody loves his very first movie. It's a French slasher movie called High Tension. It's cool. I didn't like the ending. A lot of people liked it. I thought it was dumb. The ending. I actually never seen it again after that, which is like, I don't know, 17 years.
Wow.
So with Crawl, it's like, all right, this is like the first two. It's expected, the buildup.
Right.
Daughter goes to check on her father stuck in this hurricane. You got these stubborn characters. We all have those stubborn family members where like, I don't want to leave my house, or
Yeah.
you hear that story and stuff like that. And their dynamic's really cool. I really enjoy the dynamic. Like, cause you see, there's another one where they don't spend a lot of info dumping. It's all memories
Right.
with like her swimming history with him and her relationship with him, where how it's different with her sister and stuff like that. And how she's like kind of like bound together like that. It's almost like, I don't want to say love hate, but there's definitely some tension there for whatever reason,
Yeah.
And then once she goes and checks on him, that's where all the fun gets. That's where all the fun starts.
Yeah. So I had no idea what the movie was about. I tried not to read the description of it.
Yeah.
I just hit play, and I'm like, so I had no idea what this movie even was. And as I'm watching it, I'd watched the first two,
Mhm.
so now I'm like, okay, all right, I see what Joe's doing. Okay, we have another female. It's gonna be a strong
Yep.
female. We're gonna go, and so we get to the point where she finds her father, Barry Pepper, who I love.
It's a good actor.
He's a good actor. So she finds him, and he's hurt, passed out, whatever. And all of a sudden, the part where she's going and the friggin' gator just comes out of nowhere, and I started laughing. I'm like, oh my god, is this a alligator movie? This is
Yep.
great. And I was excited. I was like, all right, this is cool because she's in Gainesville. She's at the University of Florida. She's in so she's in places that I know. Like, this is like the last movie is you in Rhode Island. Well, I'm like, all right, I know all these places that they're going in all this. And I thought it was cool. A lot of it, my thing that a lot of it looked like a movie set.
Mm-hmm.
The gas station to the house and all that water, and obviously, I mean, you're not gonna, you can't create a hurricane in real life and then throw a bunch of alligators in, obviously. So I thought it looked like a set
Mm-hmm.
on a lot of it, but I still enjoyed it. I loved the horror. I loved anytime any other character appeared outside. I'm like, oh, well, he's dead, and he's gonna be eaten by 7 alligators, So I enjoyed that. It's for me, it was exactly what you expected.
Mm-hmm.
There was no big twists or anything else. You knew who was going to live and who was going to die. But I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah, that one. That's another one I watched a few times because I just love how fun it was. Because,
Right.
like you said, it does look like a big movie set. It is definitely a suspension of disbelief type of movie. Like, this is probably out of the four the most one you just gotta be like popcorn, sit back, and
Yeah.
don't think. And
Yeah.
that's what I love about it. And we need more. I mean, there's a lot of alligator movies, but we need more of those. And and they did it so well too. It wasn't like, yeah, it has moments it felt a little far fetched, but they still built it like they did things in sections. You have a little breather. You know, she gets attacked by the alligator, and then she's able to get away, and they come up with a plan, try to trick
Right.
them, and you find out this too, and it just like it just kept escalating and escalating, and like you said, every time someone showed up, they got jacked up.
Yeah. I
And
like that they also didn't make it like campy. They didn't make it
mhm.
like a lot of Gator movies, and a lot of those movies are let's have the funny old lady, and let's
Yeah,
have the snarky young kid like that. You know, they didn't have all that. They
you
played
talking about
they
Betty White?
yeah, right, yeah, exactly. They played it totally straight. You know, this is not that movie.
Yeah, and I think you're right. It wasn't, again, it was like that crazy far fetched, but it was still like there's a hint of taking it serious. You know, it wasn't like I said, it wasn't too campy. It was a great. You care about the characters, you know, and then they just kept getting so messed up. You're like, oh my god, is one of them gonna die? What's going on here and there? And then I mean, at one point you're like, I don't want to see the dog get eaten either. And yeah, I was trying to think of one thing of it. No, it was a fun, crazy movie, and even though, like you said, like you know what's gonna happen,
Right.
it still had your heart doing this.
Oh yeah.
Underwater and Crawl, like I thought I was gonna have a heart attack watch those movies, and again, there's another form. Again, like the other three, especially the first two, Crawl gets you with like that another form of isolation. You got Underwater has the underwater facility crumbling. Sweetheart's the island and then this one is Mother Nature, really. I mean, these are real animals
Yeah.
in Mother Nature. That's really terrifying. This
Yeah.
is not some creature coming out of nowhere. This is like, oh crap, an alligator farm broke open,
Yeah.
and we're in trouble.
And I like the fact that they're in the basement and it's wet. It's like
Yep.
you know it's wet, and then it starts filling, and then it keeps filling, and then now they're to the point where they're literally underwater. Like the basement is flooded out, and you have gators in there moving around and stuff. And I love those scenes where um, you can't see what's in the
Mhm.
water. You know, your head's above water and you can't see it. I thought those scenes were good because again, it's that you're in a basement and you're inches from hitting your head on the ceiling, and it's that claustrophobia uh, part. So I thought that was good. I thought exactly. You turn your brain off and you sit down and
Mhm.
you watch that and you have a good time. There's nothing on that that's you're gonna, oh my god, I didn't see that coming. Yeah, you saw it coming. That was kind of the point of this movie, though.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, when you talking about all those scenes, it made me think of when she was going to crawl through that pipe,
Yeah,
and you just like, oh my God, please don't have one of those sons of bitches like crawl through there, because you see one just peek through and then hiss, that little creepy hiss that alligators do, and you're like, ah.
yeah,
Even when she gets out into the water and they're all just like chilling up there, and you're just like, yeah, your swimming better be good because you're in
yeah,
trouble.
yeah. I thought that was I liked it. I thought it was even the ending. I mean, you knew what was going to happen. You knew they kept going higher and higher in the house
Hmm.
as the
Hmm.
water kept rising and rising and rising. So it was one of those. You knew like any there's a boat. Okay, well they're not escaping in a boat.
No way.
There's other characters. All those characters are gonna die.
Yeah.
They're not gonna get saved. My favorite part probably in the movie is when she's in the bathroom and she's in the shower stall. She's got the shower
Oh,
closed, and that gator is slamming against the shower door as the water is rising. And she figures out a way to basically switch places with the gator
yep.
and lock him into the shower. I love that part because, again, I knew it was coming. I
Hmm.
was like, I know exactly what's coming, but it was still really cool the way I love the way it was shot, and I just love the action on all that.
Yeah, and you know that's funny because it almost says like it almost says about voice when you read a story. You know how one person does the same exact story and they do it differently. It's like, yeah, I know it's gonna happen, but the way they're doing it,
Right.
and because of the character and because of the situation, it still feels different. You see it coming, but you still like, oh, that was just they did that so well, you know. And
Yeah.
and and it really does give you a what would I do in that situation? Because I don't know if I would have thought of that.
Oh, I would have just opened the door. I would have just probably punched the gator in the face.
Yeah, I would have punched the
and I just would have wrestled him, and then he would have probably submitted. So,
yeah, we saw
or
the
I would
typical
have been.
guys.
There would have been several gators because I would have been in the tub crying like a little baby, and then they would have eaten me, and that would have been the end of the movie.
Oh no, I'd rather go with it just punching the crap out of him. At least to give him a nosebleed if I lose my arm.
But you know, these were four. They were four different movies.
Yep.
They were. I mean, they were definitely tied together by the aquatic movie part of it, but I like that it wasn't the same four movies. It wasn't the same exact thing. Because when I watched the first one, again, not even knowing the other three, I was like, okay, we're gonna have four. You picked four movies that are the bottom of the ocean, and we're drilling movies or something, and it's gonna be this whole big. It's four movies of Joe saying, "Stop messing with the planet," kind of thing. And then I was like, then I watched Sweetheart. I'm like, okay, this is different. Okay, cool. Still water, but something else is going on. So
yeah, I had to keep you guessing because I know, like, I'm like, all right, I definitely went for the strong female lead characters. I definitely wanted the water and then all the isolation, but I definitely want to keep you like because the Lighthouse movies, they're all extremely similar.
you're right.
You know,
Yeah.
like we talked. You know, like even though they're so different, they still were similar in some way. You know, just mythologies and certain types of
Right.
situations.
A couple of
are
them
different.
based on the same exact idea. So
and the same, and the guy with the same name. What? Well, three movies with Thomas. You know.
it was Thomas in every movie. Yeah.
So I'm like, oh no, we're not. You know, and I was laughing myself. I was like, oh, water right after the Lighthouse. You couldn't wait. But I was like, no, we gotta do this. This is what we come up with so quick. So
Yeah. I think that worked out.
Yeah.
So now, if you had to put them in order from 1 to 4,
that's so hard. You know, I thought I knew like before we started talking, but then like talking, I was like, oh man. So I'm gonna go backwards.
Okay.
I'm gonna go backwards because I think that's what my brain's gonna say right now. I think last is gonna be Block Island Sound. Only because like of those 15 minutes, like you said, like I agree with that a lot. Like it could have been they could have kept it that way, but added more to it to expand.
Right. And I agree. That's my number 4 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that will be number 4. It's just the fact the other 3 are so just crazy and outlandish compared to that one, you know.
Yeah.
Oh man, number 3. Oh, this is so hard. And you know, if you ask me next week, it'll change. But I'm gonna say it just the way it's going in my head.
Right. Yeah.
Number 3 would be Crawl. Now I love Crawl, love it.
Right.
I think because of the fact it is an alligator movie, it's what you expect. Just like you said, it's probably the most predictable out of all of them.
Right.
And the most most brain turn off all of them.
Yeah.
I would put that at 3, and that's not a bad thing. You know,
No.
It's not a bad thing. You know, and then 2. Now this is the one. This is where. Okay, I'm probably gonna be predictable. 2 will be Sweetheart, and then 1 will be Underwater. And before it was switched. Before it was Sweetheart because I like that build with the island. I like all that stuff. But then talking about it's like, you know, some things don't really fit. They did, but again, like just like Block Island Sound, they could have like expanded more.
Right.
You know, like the 2 characters came out of nowhere. Like it felt disjointed, but then it still worked. You know, but Underwater is just it's not even just of you know who's at the end of it. It's like it's the fact I'm an Alien fan. It's the fact that it kind of harkens to that set to like the first Alien and that style and it's such a good movie.
And I think that's also I have the same list, the same order as you. And
That's cool.
And I think it's because for what it is, that's a perfect movie. There's no misses in that movie.
Yep.
Even with Kristen Stewart in it for me, in her underwear, it still was a good movie because there were some twists. There was a lot of parts that you didn't know what was going to happen. I liked the characters. I liked
Hmm.
all the characters, even the ones that were there for only a few scenes.
Hmm.
I loved the monsters. I loved the ending. So I thought for me that was perfect. Whereas, like you said, Sweetheart, thinking about it, it kind of had a couple of small minor parts that I wasn't 100%. And the other one's an alligator movie, so it's a great movie, but it's not going to win any awards on that one. I mean, it is what it is. It's a fun movie, and the ending
Yeah.
because of Block Island Sound, I think that would have been my number three until I got to the end.
Yeah, that almost became a number three, and then I was like, no, it's like they could have done so much better with it, but it's such a. But at the same time, the atmosphere was just perfect in that movie.
Yeah. So, but overall, I liked all four of them. I'm glad I watched them. There wasn't anything that was like, oh, this is all. Well, I mean, I'm very limited horror movie wise of
Hmm.
what I'm
Hmm.
gonna watch. What I'm gonna stand. So, and you've watched about a billion movies. Now, here's my question for you before we go. Why do you watch the same movies like a dozen times? Like, there's a billion movies to watch.
I and I've seen some of the older movies I watched with kids so many times. I think part of it is a comfort level, especially with last year. I think part of it is that. So when you have like a lot of situations happening, you know, with a bad year, you want to go back to something you're more familiar with. That's like a least of it. That's least. The main thing is like I think if I'm in a creative rut or I just want to enjoy something I've seen before, I don't feel like trying anything new. I just want to revisit something that's made me happy. Like
Right.
you just this there's so much stuff you just love about something, and it to me as a horror fan, it reminds me why I'm a horror fan. Because there's so many things out there in the world where it's like within the genre and within especially the internet, where it's just like it can really, and even as a writer too, you can really pull out of that love for it. You can really get sick of it, and so many different reasons why. So like if I want to get back to that mode, then I'll be like, I'm gonna revisit a movie I love, and then go back to why I'm a horror fan. You
Right.
know. So yeah, Crawl and both Crawl and Underwater, I've seen at least both the same times because of that. Because of like just like that, there's no thinking, shut off, and then like wow, I can't wait to write something like this. So
Yeah. I get it. All right. So, so then. We'll have to obviously we'll have to do a third one. We'll have to pick another theme
yeah.
for the next time, and then as soon as my wife goes out of town, then I can binge. Yeah, I order a pizza and I eat the entire pizza and I binge watch these movies. So that's always good.
That the whole pizza sounds like a great idea.
It was, it was at the time it was a great idea, and then it really was a stupid idea if you really think about it. But
Oh man.
anything else you want to say? Now you want to pimp your new podcast that you've been doing?
Yeah, it's cool because like I'm enjoying the fact that I got two horror shows I enjoy with you, and then we break down these four. I also now do one weekly. It's called Bonded by Horror. I do it with my buds. I do that with my buds back in Rhode Island. My buddy Eddie and his little brother Benny, Eddie and Betty. Sound like cartoon characters.
Yeah.
And that one goes live on Twitch, and we do it live so people can comment and stuff, and then we just share the video after. And with that, what's really fun is like with us we get the four movie theme, and then with them it's like we break down movies we watched when we were like younger. So the first was Pet Cemetery 2, and then the second one was Army of Darkness, the third movie in the Evil Dead franchise. And then I'm bringing back an old thing I love to write about original versus remake, Amityville Horror remake versus the original
Okay.
this Friday. So it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying doing this stuff. Didn't think I would ever do any of this. So yeah.
Very cool. And I got to check it out, and everybody else should also check it out. And then at some point, you and I like that we don't have a schedule. That's the good part.
Yeah.
It's like whenever I get time to watch these movies, or whatever you pitch movies, or maybe one of these times I'll actually say, "Hey Joe, this is our theme. Now go find me four movies like this." That's what we'll do the next time.
I have already two already because I am not getting stuck like that again. The minute they pop in, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go look for it. If I'm just like searching through movies, I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no, here we go, next episode for me and Armand.
Oh, good, perfect. Yeah, that'll be perfect. All right, man. Well, once again, it was cool hanging out with you and talking movies, and obviously we will do this again.
Definitely, thank you. It was a lot of fun as usual.